Okay, I am back with an update before the 95% complete product is shown. But as you can see, there is a lot that has been done from the last time you've seen this building. So let's jump right in. First thing is you can see I've added the doors and the windows complete with window treatments. Also on the upper level or upper floor, you can see where I've added the boarded up windows to go with our theme for this small town. Below that, I've added some lettering for the name of the restaurant, which is Graffanstini's. And that name, just for a little background with it, came from my cousin, who is like a sister to me. That's one of the many nicknames she gave me. And when she gave that to me, I instantly thought it sounded like it had an Italian origin. So I thought it would be great to kind of as a tribute to what she calls me, and also to, I guess, personalize this particular building for my layout to add that name. I thought it was a pretty cool idea. And then I added a bit of signage, or one sign or decal at the bottom for Pabst Ribbon beer. I just happen to like that particular image. It definitely gives me images of years ago, the types of signs that you would see in stores, on billboards, on buildings, etc. So we've got that. Here's the right side of the building. You can see that I've added some graffiti here. And I probably won't do much more because once again, it's not going to be seen unless I reconfigure the whole town scene, and I'm not sure if I'm going to do that at this point. So I wanted to get the idea started, but not overdo it and do too much work that is not going to be seen. Here is, and here's the rear. As you can see, I did a little bit of detailing here as well by adding some more decals and painting up a little bit of that stonework at the top, which is pretty cool. But once again, you guessed it, not many will see the back of this building. And you see here, this is the left side of the building, and I think this is pretty neat. So the windows with window treatments are in, and you can see I went ahead and painted up the stucco and then added the signs. Thought that was pretty clever how you can blend the signs into the stucco that's showing and see the brickwork under that. It's pretty cool. I like this side. And yes, this side finally will be visible. It'll be the side that will be facing the viewing angle that everybody will actually be able to see. Yay. And lastly, here is the roof in its beginning stages. So you can see I got the tar paper going. So I still have some work to do, but got some good headway on where we're at with it right now. Okay, here we are back with the last part of this build before we get to the 95% finished product on Big Ed's Barbecue Shack. So you can see that big sign and decal put on the front, as well as the two below it, the 7 Up and the service plus quality sign. Got that on. You can see I kind of used my fingernails a bit to go ahead and make some of that show through. The wood grain show through at the top and actually on the other decals as well. That was fun. And then I did paint the two wings, or pilasters is what I'm calling them. I did paint them a cement color don't know if I'm going to change that or not. I might leave it to give it some character, but I'm thinking about painting it the same color as the green above it. I'm not sure at this point. Here's the left side of the building, which has some of the most details. You can see I've got some decals on the bottom, including my signature decal. Wonder Woman is what I put on this one. And mostly did that because there's a green background on the decal itself. And then, of course, the decal on the roof, kind of a eat here. And I was contemplating saying I purposely put it this way where the eat is kind of uneven, but I didn't. But I do think it gives a lot of character, because if somebody were up that high, even if they were on some kind of crane or something, putting that on, there might be a little uneasiness being all the way up there. So I'm going to say that. That's my purpose. Also, the chimney's painted, and I'm going to do a little bit more weathering with that. But right now, those are the basic colors of the brickwork on that. And of course, you see the shingles, which I showed part of in the last segment. Now here's the rear of the building. So one thing that I did add to this that's not part of the kit, but I thought it'd be kind of cool, is the rafters. You can look at the back and you can see that I've put some rafters in there. And I'll probably go a little closer, but you can see, let me see if I can get this closer. Also, if you look at the back of the front part of the building, you can see where I've added some wood, like literally put some wood there to emulate what's in the front. Instead of having just that black color, I actually went in and pasted some wood on there and painted it up, started the weathering process, giving it a bit of a chipping effect. So here's an example of adding the detail that in this particular setup no one will see. But while I was doing it, I wanted to go ahead and add that finishing touch, because I don't know if there'll ever be a time where I'll reconfigure these buildings, or who knows what my future holds as far as a possible layout, another layout in my time. Not really much to look at on this side. I didn't put any decals on this side because this is the side of the building that will be right up against the other main building, the restaurant. But you can see the shingle work does continue on this side. But what is coming up next with this is I'm going to go ahead and do the finishing touches and the finishing weathering on the building. I do have to still add the front, the door and the windows that go in the front. And who knows, I might have a surprise at the end as well. So we'll see. But let me get back to work so I can go ahead and finish up this build. Here's a look at the interior for the bottom floor of Grafenstines. As you can see, we've got two gentlemen there. I need to get more people to sit down and accompany the gentleman there, and of course get a hostess in the back there. But this is a glimpse of what you'll see once the building is actually lit up. Okay, here's Grafenstines at the 95% point, or maybe just a bit further. There's a lot definitely going on here. But as you can see, overall, I've weathered it a little bit more. Go in this seedy town. Also, I added some decals. If you look close to the doorway, to the right of it, you see the mailbox. I actually did go ahead and paint the step going into the establishment a cement color, gave it the cement treatment. And I added a sign between the top left two windows. I'll have to turn the building around so you can see what it says. But the biggest thing I wanted to do with the shape of the decorative, I guess, trim around the windows and the door, it just begged for awnings. So I had to go ahead and create those awnings. I did that out of styrene as well as construction paper. And I thought that was a nice added touch. It actually gave this an element of realism that I didn't realize until it was completed. And of course, you see where I've added the leaves. I'll go up a little bit closer so you can see some of that detail. Then we'll go to some other sections of the building. Just wanted to give you a closer look at the leaves on top of the awning. And so now let's go to the right side of the building. Okay, here's perhaps what is the most dramatic side with the stucco work and the signage, and what I added was the fire escape. Got that all weathered up, added some leaves to that as well. And then if you look on the right side, I've got the electric meter. There we go. The electric meter as well. I actually thought about putting some vines on this, and at a later date I may do it, but this is where we're at right now. Of course, this will be the area that everyone will see because it's in viewing angle. So you also can take a look at the front there where that pizza pie sign is. It's a sign that's on in the sideways direction. So you can see that there as well. All right, and last but not least, here's a look at the roof. Of course, weathered that a bit, added some patchwork. There's 3 patches there, and the antenna as well as the pipe jack back there. So later on, I'll probably add a little bit more detail when the building's in place, but this is definitely a good start with getting it installed in the town scene and then coming back later with smaller details. Okay, I wanted to show everybody the interior, and just like all of the buildings, this one is not lit yet, but this is a little preview, and hopefully you can see this a little bit better than in my last video, which was a poor excuse for showing you the interior. I apologize for that. But this is before I put the front wall on. So you can see the benches and the counter and some of the advertisements on the walls. And I gotta add people, which will be done later. But just wanted to give you a little sneak peek of the interior of the barbecue shack. Okay, YouTube, here we are back with the 95% finished big barbecue shack. So what has gone on in the front is the awning. I also added some supports just as an added detail. Also, you see that I put the front door and windows on and added a window treatment there as well. I didn't want to block it too much because well, we're gonna have some interior. Also, if you look, you can see all of the leaves, dead leaves, that have fallen, which means somewhere around this town I'm gonna have to have a pretty nice sized tree for that to be effective. But just a little bit of added detail. So I'll move it around so you can see what's going on some of the other sides. All right, here is the right side of the roof where I've weathered up the roof itself, including the chimney, darkened it up. Can't have a clean chimney, especially one over an older restaurant. And once again, you see some of the leaves that have fallen and sat there through weather, through storm, and now they're actually at this point dead. So the very top peak of the roof on that ridge, got a little bit of coloring there for some fading that has happened over time. to the roofing material. And now here's the left side of the roof where you can see I did add a bit of detail. Some of this may be visible. There is going to be the other building beside it on this side, but I think you'll still be able to see some of this. So I've got some patchwork with a bit of the nails leaking a little bit. They're rusted up, so I've brought that down across the roofing. Also added a pipe jack as well that's kind of dirty because of course all that cooking going on inside the barbecue shack, and just overall weathered that up. Okay everyone, here are the two buildings together, which is how they're going to be sitting in the town. But what needs to be done at this point will be done in a future video. I need to add a waiter and a few patrons, or a couple patrons, in the barbecue shack. There's not a ton of room over there, but I think I could make that work. And then for both buildings, I'm going to need to add the lighting as well. So that will be coming up in a future video. Additionally, for the town scene, I actually have one more building I'm going to build. So stick around. That one which should be out in the near future. And then once that's done, I will have completed all of the buildings in the town scene. Even though I do have a few more of these kits to build, but they're not going to be in this particular area. At least I don't think they are. So once again, I appreciate you sticking around for the build. This was a fun one. I had been looking for this particular kit for a few years now, and I'm so happy I came across it. This was fun, and I think this will be probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite, two buildings in the town itself. I hope that everyone took something away from this project and it was helpful and also entertaining. And I hope that you'll come back for the build for the last building in this particular area. But as always, this has been Dave, also known as Loving Them Trains. And until next time, later, y'all.